So last video for today. So the season's about to begin for WWPF. This is our Draft Day Sports Pro Football League. I'm holding off on doing a series of videos because the experience between Draft Day Sports Pro Football 2024 and 2025 is a little bit different. So I want to move to 2025 before I do the videos, but I feel like I've neglected the community a little bit, so I do feel like I owe you something. So I'm gonna do something I don't normally do. Uh, I am going to show you Pittsburgh. By the way, don't guess that's all numerical if you're trying to get into Pittsburgh. So for those of you aware of the history of Pittsburgh, I've had Pittsburgh for a while now. I forget when I took them over, but when I started in the league, I was with Tennessee, and then Pittsburgh opened up. I think I took them over somewhere like right around here. I could be wrong. I don't remember how long I've had them, but I've had them for a while, at least since 2042. I know I had them before then because the one league championship I had, and that was with Hollingsworth. So I've had the Steelers for a bit. Um, and I'm going to show you some things and you can go from there. I'm not going to show my playbook. So I play Tampa Bay this week and um, I'm comfortable showing you how I'm going to game plan because of the fact that Tampa Bay is a CPU team. Now, I wouldn't show you how I game plan Cleveland because it's not fair to bio, but I may show you how I game plan Baltimore, Cincinnati, Jacksonville, uh, really those teams because they're not humans. Um, so a couple things about Pittsburgh, just to know right from the beginning, is I talk a lot about philosophy. And some people may scoff at it, but one of the reasons why I'm successful with Pittsburgh and have been even before I was the commish is philosophy. I have built this team around a couple tenets. And I'm not saying this is for you, it's for me, right? My tenets are essentially I want fast blitzing defenses. I want corners who can keep up with anybody in a straight line and I care more about knockdowns than I do in pass defenses than I do interceptions. I'm not a ball hawk defense. I will pressure your ass off the edge, and that's by linebackers and defensive ends that are extremely fast. In the inside, I play strong, meaning that I prefer to have very strong defensive tackles, but it depends on who I play. Sometimes I'm going to just go speed. But I think the easiest way to say my philosophy on defense is speed. I play a lot of 4-3 and I play a lot of dime. It was some nickel. I will offset with 3-4 occasionally. I'm not a big fan of 3-4 in the pro game only because I think the challenge I have is it puts more pressure on the linebackers. But if I'm blitzing, I may go 3-4, but 4-3 to me has always been my favorite just because I put four linemen up against essentially five offensive linemen and it allows me to create some holes and opportunities. Um, excuse me. I will play dime. I will play nickel depending on who I'm playing. Offensively, I am based on medium passing. I am a medium passing offense or balanced passing offense. I am heavy on the run. I've always been that way, always will be that way because I do believe that running opens the door for passing. Um, my quarterbacks, I don't prefer arm quarterbacks. I prefer intelligence, not perform. I prefer intelligence over arm. I'm fine with having quarterbacks in the 80s in both arm and accuracy because if I have intelligence, it just works out better for me. Now, that's not to say it's not for everyone. Like if you look at Maryland in SNCFL, you see how I really like arm because it's a long passing attack with a very strong rushing attack that keeps you honest. Most of my offense is based off balance. I want to run the ball, but I also want to be able to throw the ball. A lot of times I want to have one or two speedy wide receivers, but then I want people who are agile. And you see that when we talk about Flores. Um, I want agility in my receiving core. My linemen need to be able to run and block. I prefer technique blockers over strength blockers, and you'll see that a lot with me. Now, earlier when I got my first league championship, I preferred strength blockers. But nowadays I prefer smart blockers who can both run and pass block, and I prefer them to be agile and fast over strength. Now, I prefer like 70 strength, and I'll talk a little bit about some of that stuff. So that's Pittsburgh's philosophy in a nutshell. Now, as you see quickly, is my coaches have been around for a while. I haven't replaced them. Now I lost one of my coaches this last season, which I think was Colson wasn't my coach. I lost my offensive coordinator finally, which sucked because he went to Minnesota and then the human coach there retired, which means that I lost arguably one of my best, the guy who was going to replace Nugent as the head coach. But Michael Bennett, Nugent, and Jeffrey Colby have been around with Pittsburgh for a very long time. As you can see, I've aligned my offense and defense to kind of this is a 4-3. Kobe, I don't really care about the 3-4. He gives me the ability to play the 3-4 if I want to play the 3-4. Nugent is a defensive coach. As you'll see, he's very strong at coaching defense. I have him for these reasons more so than any. And then if you look at Colby, Colby's also a strong defense. He's also really good at prep, which I may be able to use a little bit more when I don't want to prep. Um, I'm not big on Colson. I don't like him, but he's the only guy I could get at the time after my guy decided to leave. Bennett is one of the better things. He builds through the draft, which is how I build. I use free agency to rough out my edges, but I build draft through the draft. When we look at the roster, you kind of see some of the things I'm talking about just at a high level. So let's go position by position, make this easier. Quarterback, as you notice, no great arm. I got Hughes, but Hughes is a guy I think I picked up this year. Pierce is my longtime quarterback. Again, I value intelligence above all else. He also has a hidden gem talent, which I use a lot. Stevens, again, has really good intelligence. He has a decent arm. He did actually good for me last year when I was without Pierce because of injury. It'd be interesting to see how Hughes plays out. Generally, most years I've been playing all three. But my offense really begins with my rushing attack, and that's Lackey. Lackey is arguably outside of Ford the best running back in the league. As you can see, when he's not injured, he is having great seasons. He's actually gotten better about scoring touchdowns. He plays in the game in both facets of the game. And generally, he's just been one of the great running backs in this league in this era. DeMills will probably back him up. Lentz won't probably Lentz is a new addition to the team. I dropped the previous guy and brought Lentz back. Lentz has been with Pittsburgh for a while, and as you can see, he's mostly a change of pace back. But I like him as a change of pace back because he brings some things that Lackey doesn't have, like he has agility, he has good hands, and I can use him in the passing game. I'm overpaying for him at 5.1 million, but I can live with that. I do use fullbacks a lot, again, because it helps just with blocking. Rocco Harris is a guy I've been high on for a long time, but Benton is someone I'm looking forward to. This is what I was talking about when I say technique. If you notice, I have no 90s in strength. These are technique blockers. So high agility, minus like O'Neal and Shipley, but they're guards, it doesn't matter. And then you notice that again, I have speed. They're good all-round blockers. I prefer skill here as well. Timothy O'Neal is a guy I just want to get better, but he hasn't quite got there yet. But as you can see, that they're largely intelligent. So Hall and Shipley normally start for me. McClendon he's a converted tackle, but he's had a really good career for me, and I have no complaints with him. At tackle, again, I prefer speed Hill more than anywhere else, and agility Hill more than anywhere else. Poland will be interesting to see how he plays out. He's a really good blocker, but generally, Crook is someone I'm high on. He's an up and coming person. Um, and again, you see the lack of strength again is kind of showing here, although I do have more strength on tackle because I have to deal with bull rushers. Center, their longtime center retired. So I have Gillespie, who I'm really high on. I drafted him, and I think he's going to be a long-term thing at center. I prefer fast tight ends. So you're going to see that over tight ends over blocking. Phelps is my blocking tight end. These guys are receiving tight ends, and I prefer to have faster ones, and I aim for that. Again, as I talked about wide receiver, what you'll notice is I'm high on agility. So Deal in Flores. Flores used to be 100. Gabriel Wright was brought in, even though he's slower because he has high agility. I can hit him in the slot. So you'll see a lot of that. Gallagher, I think, is on my practice squad. But again, you do see speed here as well. It's not like it used to be. Ellis White got nerfed pretty hard. He used to be up there, but you'll see a lot more Tolliver coming this season. You'll see more Flores, and then you'll see a lot of Deal, but don't be surprised if you see a lot of Ellis Wright. He's been a really mainstay for me. On defense, I mentioned speed, right? And you can see the speed. So Travis, Lewis, Cruz, and of course Burke. Spite used to be above 90. He was at one time 100. He's just aging. But again, I preface a lot of thing on speed, and I also do like to have intelligence here. It's just Burke has good intelligence. Lewis has good intelligence. So does Travis. Those are actually my preferred ones. In short zones, I like Burke because he has really good agility. So does Travis, and I'll use them in that regard when I'm trying to play certain teams. Linebacker wise, we talked again speed, speed, speed. It's common here for me. My interior linebackers, I'm okay with being slower because I'll play them as an inside linebacker. But my outside linebackers and my middle linebacker have to be fast. Um, I care more about the speed than I care about the tackling, honestly. And then intelligence, I want them in the 60s because that's important. Doherty is someone I wish was smarter because I think with that 99 agility, he would be awesome. He does play inside for me a lot. Defensive tackle, we talked about this, is I do prefer strength. I do also like speed. As you can see, Wade Miller is my best defensive tackle in my book, but Corey Hubbard sees a lot of reps, so does Seth Button. And again, it's strength because I play a lot of 4-3. I prefer to have strength. Uh, on the line, this is a little bit hard because this will be my first season without Pacheco in a while. So Ricks is someone I'm high on. I brought him in from a different team. I drafted Perry. Um, Perry and Ricks will be 1 and 2, and then you'll probably see like Bauman and Hunter as the backups. And I do rotate a lot to keep them fresh. Ashbury is arguably the starter here, but Coggins, as you can see, is a really good alternative to have. Do need to renew him. And then at safety, again, I believe in speed at safety. Whitfield had a really good career. Renee Chen is a good backup. Kicker, punter wise, Barnes is okay. I drafted him, but the kicker is Jeffrey Clark. He's been here for a while now, and I'm pretty high on him. As you can see, he's got great leg, great skill. Now, when you look at this, and this isn't going to mean anything to you because I'm not going to show it, you'll notice something really quickly about my offense. I run multiple playbooks. And the reason for that is I truly believe that if you're going to be successful in this online format, you need to have run, pass, and balance plays. Blitz-O is more of a running package for me. Uh, O wide open is what it sounds like. It's a passing package. AZO is more of a balance. Um, AZ stands for, it's a nuclear term, I just use it. But Blitzo is, these are fast outside running plays or fast balance running plays. I use those a lot. If you want to get good at running, one of the things that you need to understand is counter and offensive tackle, off tackles, not offensive tackle. Counter and off tackles are generally some of the better plays that you can run. Sweeps, really good. Inside running in this game is not as good as it should be, but you can use it, especially if you have the right lineman to do it. Wide open is I just spread the field and then I start throwing. And this came from watching Zombie, and this is a pullover from the college game. So in 2024 version, the college game and the pro game aren't that much different. A lot of the mechanics feel the same. So what I would say is Even in 2025, I think it's the same case because I think the pro game is based off the college game in some mechanics. So what I would say is what's working in the college game probably is going to work in the pro game. But running plays that you should always consider is counters and off tackles, and then watch to see which side. Make sure you're balancing your best running people on that side. The other thing is it's really good idea for run plays to put at wide receiver run blockers. It just makes it easier for you to get outside. But as you can see, it does this. I ignore this. I know some coaches swear by it. I don't. I want my team to run the same way it would run up and down the field. I do, the weights are going to be different based on what we're going to go through, but you can see I do like throwing the ball a little bit more. Again, on defense, again, I have a series of playbooks. Pit D run is a general running package I run. DCAR-P was a pass package I used against Carolina. AZD, NYJP, DP will be happy to know I create a specific defense just for him. So a lot of that is long zones and stuff like that because DP is so fucking fast. I have to play against his speed, and the easiest way to do that is to put people back in like a cover two, cover three, and have the free safety playing out and back because I got to deal with that speed. But as you can see, I vary it. I don't blitz 100% of the time. Again, I've talked about this in a bunch of different videos. I'll keep talking about it. When you set it to 100, you are not using, anytime you set a blitz weight, when it decides to blitz, you're not using your playbooks anymore. You're using the blitz package playbooks. And you can see them, they're in there. Now, if you're in an online league, you can't see them because you can't export the playbooks. Now you can ask the commish, and maybe the commish will put it up and let you see what the blitz packages actually look like, so you actually know what is happening. But if this is set to 1, the chances of you using only your playbooks is pretty good. If you set it to 100, you're not using your own playbooks on those plays. And I just do this because I'm lazy, and for transparency. But for the most part, as you can see, I prefer to set the blitz weight to where I have a decent amount of control over the team. Now, I will tell you when I played Carolina, this was set, I think these were set to 100, but these were set to less than 10 because I wanted my playbooks to go through. So again, you see I play different types depending on what I think the opponent is, and I'll talk about that in a second. Game planning, again, this isn't what I'm running today. But I tend to be conservative, which means I'm going to kick field goals. I'm not going to go for it on fourth down. I do focus on the pass, even though I run it a lot. I keep my tempo either normal or slow. In this case, I was playing, I think the last game was Carolina, where I did switch to a long passing game, throwing outside. At that time, Ellis Wright was really fast. He's not now, so I might not do that. You can see I kept my running focus outside because I was doing a lot of sweeps. For this week, I'm not going to do that. And then the rest just doesn't matter. Now, there are a lot of people who do normal, but they'll also do none. And what it says is that there's no preference. I need to flip that. Uh, to where your coordinator isn't really taking a preference. In this case, he's going to pick the long pass plays. And if you set outside, he's going to pick the long pass plays that have an outside component and so on. Aggressive, this just means my team's going to go for it harder. I did this against Carolina. I'm normally conservative because I want my team to play to slow people down as opposed to play to pick the ball off. Again, you'll see a lot of people with not set, not set. These normally you see things. In this case, I was playing Carolina. I wanted a pass rush and I wanted my linebackers in coverage. Again, I have fast linebackers so they can play coverage. Uh, Normally I'm on man or I'm on mixed, depending on who I'm playing. Like a couple times I played Peter, I had zone, just to throw them off. But again, if you know they're going to run, you choose run. If you know they're going to throw, you throw pass. If you think they'll balance, you choose balanced. It gives you points. That's all it gives you. And then the same for that. Normally, this is your smartest player on the field or has the best instincts. This one, as you can see, is to make sure there's at least as many cornerbacks or wide receivers. If you check this, what you're going to have a lot of times is you're going to be running nickel or dime or quarter. Man coverage again, this just says that you want to make sure that defenders are lining up. If you set this to none, you will get, when you set this to balanced or you set this to always, it means CB1 lines up against wide receiver 1, CB2 lines up against wide receiver 2. If you set it to Neville, actually CB1 lines up against wide receiver 2, CB2 lines up against wide receiver 1, and then so on and so forth. Target player again is just who you're going to target. I don't tend to target anybody, and then this stuff doesn't really matter to you. I tend to not allow my coaches to do prep. I may change that this season, but I don't think I will because Colson sucks. But generally, I try to take away whatever I think that they're going to do. In this case, long passing was against Invisible. And then I thought he was going to blitz me, so I took away the blitz. If they're running outside, I'm going to put outside running. If I know they're a medium passing team, I'm going to put medium short, so on and so forth. I don't run a lot of formations, despite popular belief. I used to, but ever since the one change, I don't feel the need to because it doesn't allow me to choose my energy settings. I'm not going to show you my playbook now. How do I how do I plan for Tampa Bay in week 1? So first thing is I'm gonna go Tampa Bay, and it's not gonna show me that because I'm not logged in as commish. I can't see any of that stuff. Uh, which is the way it should be. But what I want to look at is I want to look at the preseason games. And what I'm looking for here is preseason's a horrible time to look at things, but I'm trying to suss out what are they doing. So first down, they're running the ball more than they're passing. Second down, they're passing more than they're running, passing more than they're running. And now I'm going to start looking at the plays. So they're running a lot of balanced, a couple insides, still inside, generally, it looks like they are running medium to short from what I'm seeing. I also look at Carolina to see what they're doing and see, because I mean, they kind of thumped them. So I'm looking to see what Carolina did and what they were successful with. So Carolina was running 5-2s, quarters, 4-3s, 3-4s. So Invisible's running a pretty much a hybrid style with quarters as his main pass package. And then I can see here what plays working. The pitching seemed to work. The counters seem to work. I run a lot of counters, so that's good. I'm not into fullback flies. I don't run pistols, so sweeps. Yeah, anything outside seems to really hurt Tampa Bay, so I probably want to keep the outside thing going. They got shell shocked by New Orleans, who's a CPU team. That's kind of embarrassing, but those CPU teams, so it makes sense. Again, what I'm going to look for here is see what they were doing. Again, they're continuing with the running on first down versus the passing. This time they ran a little bit more on second, threw a lot on third because they were behind. And again, what I'm seeing here is a lot of outside skinny posts. So a lot of it's medium. They're not really going long. So probably what that means for me is, should go back here and look at one thing though. I'm also looking to see who is the person that I need to worry about. And again, I can kind of guess who the linemen are based on the pancakes. There's also a view where I can actually see how many times they played. So Hensley is a tackle. Darnell is a guard. Um, Van is a guard. So I can kind of suss out a little bit about this. I have to figure out who the other one is, but um, that gives me, and of course, I can watch the game and I can actually see where people are lining up. So if I go back to Pittsburgh, the way I would probably play this, and I'm not saying this is the way I'm going to play this, uh, was my strategy. I don't think I need to change my playbooks. I think I'm good here because based on what I saw from both games is Tampa Bay just got shelled. And generally my offense is gonna stack up well. But what I do want to do is, it looks like at 1st and 10, 1st and short, they're running the ball, and then they're passing. I'm gonna keep second short at run. I don't think I need to play the deep packages that come with AZD New York J. So you can see I have a lot of different things here, right? So I'm gonna go with DCAR-P because those are less deep, those are more medium rat packages. Again, 3rd and short, I still think he's running the ball a lot. So what I'm probably gonna do here is go 12 because I don't want the game going to a default blitz package, especially on the running plays. This one I may actually set to 1. Um, I'm going to keep these low. Uh, just out principle, I'll keep that though. Again, keep this low because I don't want it choosing my blitz packages. I'm going to probably keep this around maybe 34. Keep this around 14. Actually, no, I want that around 34. I'll keep this around 7. Again, you're probably wondering why I'm putting these numbers. This is just experience. It doesn't really mean anything. It's not like it's going to majorly change anything for me. I keep that at 40. Now, when I come here, what I'm going to start focusing on is I do want to go long. I do want to keep outside. I am going to change this up though. And I'm going to try to probably hit Kobe Tolliver a little bit more. Leave that alone. Outside, I'm keeping that. There's no reason to change any of that. Conservative, he's running kind of a balance attack, but I'm going to go pass because I think he's going to have to throw. I will go aggressive because I want to blitz more. Um, I'll keep man because if I remember correctly, a lot of plays in my playbooks are man based, they're not mixed based. Pass rush coverage, I should be fine with that. Roland Bray, probably not going to be the guy. If I remember correctly. Da, da, da. Definitely not Doherty. I think I put him at, yeah, I did put him though. I'll keep this, I'll keep that, doesn't matter. He's more medium than he is anything else, and then I'll put that on man because I don't think he's gonna blitz me. And then what I'll go back to is the depth chart, and I'm gonna look here and start creating matchups. So I'm not gonna change much here. I think this is fine. I don't really care. Um, just looking at my line real quick and make sure they're okay. I don't think I need to change this. I'm going to be able to overspeed them. Weatherford is in the start there. I got Mosley and Lyons on the outside. Yeah, I don't need to change anything. And by the way, I've already set my depth chart because it was already set for me. Um, but I think in general this should work, and I should be able to beat them down pretty bad. So that's how I'll do it. Now, once the scores come in, and I'll kind of show you this to you. Let's just see how. So generally, after I'm done with each game, what I look at is to see what was successful and what wasn't. Last game, I struggled with some completions, which makes sense because I was running a long pass book. I didn't run the ball as much as I should. Um, and then I look at the plays that are working. Like I'll probably get rid of posts because of that. And then I'll look at the plays on this side to see. You can see I've run a lot of 4-3, nickel, and dime. Truthfully, in the preseason, it's really hard to gauge me because I run my coach's playbooks. One, it gives me an idea of some new plays I can probably use, but two, it means I don't give away anything. Um, because there are coaches in this league like Peter who will watch what you're doing and then start building. And I played Peter on week 11. So for the upcoming season, the gotcha games for me are going to be week 2, um, week 9, week 11, week 12, week 13, week 14. That's just going to be a brutal fucking series. Um, that's Peter, Shark, Kevin, Invisible, and I could end up with 4 losses at that point. I'm not really worried about the divisional race. I think all things considered, this should be a win. This should be a win. This should be a win. Win. Bama is always a hard one to deal with, but I think I can get that win. JP's a little bit hard to deal with, but again, I already beat him once, and I wasn't using my playbooks. But I don't think he uploaded, so I got to be careful with that cockiness. That should be a win, 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 win. So roughly about 12 and 4, maybe 11 and 5. If I beat Oakland, I'm probably going to be injured, which will benefit Shark and Kevin and Invisible. Invisible, Kevin and I and Shark all have back and forth. Normally, I don't like beating Peter in the season because it means I'm going to lose to him in the postseason, but we'll see how that plays out. So I already did a video about recapping, but that's kind of how my game plan is going to work. I will do specific videos next week around how to play the 4-3, how to play the 3-4, how to create a hybrid, running the ball versus passing the ball, and some good playbooks. And I'll actually show you some playbooks that I've used that are pretty successful. So hopefully this works. If you're interested in joining us at SNCFL, we'd love to have you. We also have GMPFL if you're interested in that league, which is a coaches league, meaning you can do everything but create custom playbooks. Hope you have a good time. We are about an hour and a half away from the opening of the WWPF season. I already did a video on that, so hopefully this helps you a little bit. Thanks.